On this edition of Forever Spinning, we take a trip to Virginia Beach to look at one of the greatest releases from one of hip-hop's greatest duos as we discover the secrets behind Clipse's Hell Hath No Fury.
Perfect.
The story of Clipse is really just the story of two brothers, Gene and Terrence Thornton. Growing up in the Virginia Beach area of Virginia, these two brothers had a relatively normal and stable life. As the boys grew older, they were exposed to the crack cocaine being sold in their area and decided that they wanted in. It was during this time that Gene, better known as the stage name Malice, began rapping. Quickly, he was introduced to another Virginia Beach resident, Pharrell Williams, who was one half of the production crew, the Neptunes. Malice and the Neptunes began writing songs together until one day, Terrence, who you might know better as Pusha T, decided to drop some bars on them. It was actually Pharrell that suggested that the two brothers began rapping together, and voila, Clipse was born. Malice and Push began recording their debut record, exclusive audio footage, for Elektra Records. Unfortunately, their debut single, The Funeral, was a commercial flop, thus forcing Elektra to not only drop them but also shelf the record. Luckily for Clipse, Pharrell had started his own label, Star Trek Entertainment, which was a branch of Arista Records. Pharrell instantly signed Clipse, with the Neptunes running the production side of things. Malice and Push were instantly thrown into stardom with their hit single, Grindin', which was the lead single from their debut, Lord Willin'. Lord Willin' was released in August of 2002 and was instantly successful, debuting at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100. The group got right back to work on their follow-up, which is the topic of today's video, Hell Hath No Fury. The album's recording process was not that difficult, as the Neptunes resumed their role as the lead producers. It was all recorded in Hovercraft Studios in Virginia Beach, mostly between 2003 and 2006. However, there was a major issue with its release. Not because of the album itself, but because the label was stuck in legal limbo. You see, Arista's urban artists were sucked up by the subsidiary Jive Records, while Star Trek was then moved to Interscope Records. This was all set in motion due to a merger between BMG and Sony. Unfortunately for Clipse, they were stuck on the Jive Records side, while Pharrell and the Neptunes were over with Interscope. Not only that, but Jive was not too keen on hip-hop, as they pushed for more pop releases, screwing Clipse over even more. Hell Hath No Fury was in constant hell, as it was delayed ad nauseum. However, Clipse smartened up and decided to record some new music under a new name with the help of some friends. They met with Philadelphia rappers Adliva and Sandman to create their collab outfit, aptly dubbed Re-Up Gang. Re-Up Gang released a mixtape series called We Got It For Cheap, the first one coming out in 2004 and the next coming out in 2005. Both mixtapes were hailed by critics and fans alike. While this is all well and good, Hell Hath No Fury was still sitting on a shelf ready to be released at any moment. Fed up with Jive, Clipse formally requested for their contract to be terminated. When this request was denied, they sued Jive and eventually came to an understanding with the label. Hell Hath No Fury was allowed to be released under Jive and the newly formed Re-Up Records. Set to come out in August of 2006, there were a few more delays until its eventual release. Finally, the long-awaited sophomore effort, Hell Hath No Fury, was released on November 28, 2006 to immense commercial and critical success. The first single to drop alongside this legendary album is Mr. Me Too, which was released on May 23rd, 2006. Originally, this beat, along with many others from Hell Hath No Fury, were supposed to be on Jay-Z's Kingdom Come. According to Pusha T, he had to call Pharrell and chew him out over this controversy. Nevertheless, Mr. Me Too ended up on Hell Hath No Fury. The song itself, which was co-written by Pharrell, is all about the copycats that flood the genre. From clothing to flow and, of course, cocaine, Malice and Push put on a clinic for those who dare taint Clipse's name and brand. But more than anything, Mr. Me Too is a masterclass in braggadocious coke rap. Like when Malice raps, "We cloud hoppers, tailored suits like we mobsters, break down keys into dimes and sell them like gobstoppers. Who's gonna stop us? Not a goddamn one of you." Not to mention, the hook simply mocks all the other rappers that are trying to sound like Malice and Push, as they seemingly shrug off the copycat antics. Mr. Me Too peaked at 65 on Billboard's R&B and hip-hop charts and is still universally praised. The only other single with this record is Womp Womp What It Do featuring Slim Thug, which was released on October 31st, 2006. Funny enough, October 31st was one of the many supposed release dates of Hell Hath No Fury. However, Clipse and Re-Up Records decided to drop this single instead, pushing back the full LP until the end of November. In typical Clipse fashion, this song is all about pushing coke and making money. Malice, Push, and Slim Thug don't mince words either, making it known that they're not here to play around. Push's closing lines on his verse put it best. So proper, hammer dropper, gun cocker, top shotta, me hesitate none, pop ya. Eggshell on the scale for my snow coppers, don't ask what I sell, shit, I'm Betty Crocker. In those 4 lines alone, you know that Pusha T is king of the coke game, and he won't hesitate to put you down if you come for his crown. Womp Womp What It Do did not chart as high as Mr. Me Too, coming in at number 96 on the Billboard Hot R&B and Hip Hop charts, but it is still critically acclaimed nonetheless. While there are many great songs to choose from to round out this single section, I wanted to take some time to talk about the album's closing track, Nightmares featuring Ball Lal, and Pharrell. Easily the slowest song of Hell Hath No Fury, Nightmares is a look into the darker side of Malice's and Push's lifestyle. It acts as a ballad to explain the struggles of constantly looking over your shoulder while rising to the top as a dealer. This track takes heavy inspiration from the iconic Ghetto Boys song Mind Playing Tricks on Me, on which Ghetto Boys speak on the paranoia that they face every day. Pusha T goes as far as to quote Willie D's opening lines at the beginning of his own verse when he raps, "I make big money, drive big cars, everybody know me, it's like I'm a movie star." More than anything, Nightmares is used to heed a warning to those that listen to Clipse's music and just assume that everything is hunky-dory, when in reality the brothers are constantly looking over their shoulders. Over the past few months, I found myself listening to this record over and over again without really ever getting tired of it. And with my listening habits and patterns, this is pretty rare. In my mind, there are few greater records with the same or better replayability value. And while researching and writing the script for this episode, I found myself asking why it is that I can constantly come back to this album without becoming bored of it. Or, for a matter of fact, how have I not burnt myself out of this album? And I'll be frank, I have absolutely no idea. Alright, well I do have some idea, but I don't think it's very sound or concrete. It comes down to two very simple things. Number one, Pharrell and the Neptune's production on this record is simply sublime. Each and every track is diverse, yet they flow together so nicely. Not only are the drums crisp, the synths run together wonderfully, and each added sound converges on top of each other, making this a delicious musical stew. The second part of this equation comes from the machine-like fluidity between Malice and Push. From front to back, the brothers rap with surgical precision. All of the flows are catchy while the lyrics are as braggadocious as humanly possible. And it's because of these two massive aspects that Hell Hath No Fury will always be played. This is, without a doubt in my mind, my favorite coke rap album. Albeit I can't really conjure up a very long coke rap list, but nonetheless this takes the cake. Yes, I am a white suburban loser. No, I cannot relate to anything that Clipse are talking about, but there is something intriguing about how they say it that keeps me coming back. It's kind of funny that for as much as I love this record, I have trouble verbalizing why I appreciate it so much. It sucks and it's a cop-out, but it's really all that I have to say. It's weird considering I think that this is one of the best episodes that I've made so far in terms of the research and writing, but at the end I just can't do anything else. It makes sense up here, but I get tongue-tied when I try to talk about it. So unfortunately, that's it. That's the video. I hopefully can maybe come back at a later date to really be able to talk about why I can appreciate this album so much. I guess that my true final thought about this record is that although that it only talks about one subject, it does it so well and thoroughly, keeping it fresh and entertaining all the way throughout. So when you've never heard this record before, or if it is one of your personal favorites, Clipse's Hell Hath No Fury will always be forever spinning. Thanks for watching.